Welcome, dirty peasants, to episode 63 of Wartwood Gazette, the Amphibia podcast. This week we'll be covering Amphibia Season 2, Episode 11, Night Drivers and Return to Wartwood. I'm your host, the Maticon, and join me today we have Nick.
What's up, people?
And Pickle.
Hey.
Thanks, guys, for coming on, and I believe both of you were on for the last 2 weeks while I was occupied. Thanks to you and Impact as well for holding the fort.
No, you're welcome.
So I don't think there's any news this week other than TJ Hill's usual. I believe every Friday he posts the season 3 soundtrack, and every Monday he posts the season 2 soundtracks. Correct?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So it's nice to slowly get all that music out, but I'm still waiting for that Anne vs. Wild soundtrack, but one day.
Wait,
I mean, we'll get there, right? Like, didn't
I think he... One sec, I think I'm gonna go check.
Let me look at that.
I know
right?
he posted a couple of season 1 tracks like a long time ago, like back in 2019.
Oh, there it is. Ann Hunter. No, I think it did. Ann Hunter score excerpts. Wait.
Oh, I didn't ask about Anne Hunter. I was talking about Anne vs. Wild.
Oh, Ann vs. Wild. Oh, shoot. Oh, I didn't really... Oh, my bad. Wow. Yeah, I never realized that... Wow. I thought they already did release season 1's entire soundtrack, didn't they? Or...
Just most of the,
I don't know anything about that.
I guess just like the more famous ones or something. You know what I mean? Like the Sylvia song, Flight of the Moth. Huh.
The Hop to You drop like
I
the
think
dance
one
off
of those
music.
returned in season 3.
But yeah, that's.
I hope they get the season 1 because. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I just hope. Yeah, once TJ Hill gets through 2 and 3, I hope we get 1.
Yeah,
I just wish Disney would put their soundtracks.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it really does feel like a miracle that like we're getting both season 2 and season 3 because I know we were begging for it for such a long time, and it kind of felt like something that wouldn't happen. But hey, here we are now, right? Like we have these entire soundtracks just getting dumped online, and like God, I just can't wait to like I don't know what I usually do on things like these. Like I just sometimes when I'm studying or writing or doing something, like I'm not gonna lie to you, I just put these on and I just sort of like relive these memories in my head or something while I'm listening to the music. It's really fun to do, but yeah, I mean, I just can't wait to have the whole series just in my hands to do. Yeah.
I wish Disney would put more of their music on Spotify for like their shows because they got the Battle of the Bands special music, and they've got the lyrical intro version, but not the normal intro version, and it's just really annoys me because I want to be able to add those to my playlists, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah, 1,000%. Like I can't wait.
Yeah, they've shown they've been able to do it, but like they haven't, which is frustrating.
Yeah, Disney's just weird at this kind of stuff. Sort of back and forth on it.
So I guess that's pretty much all for news this week. We can go right into the episode, starting off with Night Drivers. So Night Drivers was written by Geneva Mai, storyboards by Drew Applegate and Nat Maurer, and directed by Jen Strickland. So I guess like starting off with general thoughts, this was a Polly Sprigg focused episode, and I had a lot of fun with it. It's like picking up, the trip back, picking up where we left off with getting back to Wartwood, and yeah, like really enjoyed the episode. I guess starting with Pickle, what are your thoughts on this episode?
Good episode. It kind of gets us back into the flow of things, and it like kind of sets the scene for the rest of the season, or at least the beginning of the rest of the season. because it bridges the gap between Newtopia and getting back to Wartwood, and it's because we've already done the whole journey thing. They don't have to do that again, so they can just kind of. This is a good episode to play catch up, basically, and it's also just it's got some funny gags, and it kind of sort of slopes up into the rest of the season.
All right, thank you, Pickle. Nick, what are your thoughts on Night Drivers?
Yeah, I mean, I love this episode. If I'm being honest, like Polly and Sprig's dynamic, like it just does not have enough episodes in the series because I think we just have like what do we have? I think we just have like Civil War and I
Quarters
know that
Pass.
one episode before they get to Utopia. Yeah, that one. Yeah, and like shit, that's just three, and like I don't know. Like every time I watch an episode, I'm always like, God, I wish we just had more of this because they're just so fun together. Especially when they're just working together and just going through crazy stuff like what happened in this episode. So yeah, all around, I mean, yeah, really a fun episode and just a good way to get us back on track here, Amphibia.
All right, thank you, Nick. And yeah, this episode starts off with like Hop Up and Anne are just exhausted from driving. I think Anne mentions it was like 20 hours straight. And while they're like sleep deprived, Polly and Sprig are like full of energy and excited to return to Wartwood, but Anne and Hop Up got stopped for a few hours just to get a bit of rest. Also, during that I love how like Polly's thinking about those pancakes we'll see next episode. I think those were the same pancakes we'll see in not the next episode, but the first temple, like the pillbird bug pancakes, whatever.
Ooh, yeah, you're right, you're right.
Yeah, and then
Yeah,
and then Sprig is just thinking about Ivy, but
But yeah, no, I will say I really love this opener because it just I don't know, like it just I just love it when like the planters are just sort of like divided into their own subgroups. Like, when it comes to the more responsible stuff, Ann and Hop Hop, they're taking care of that, they're all on that. Then Sprig and Polly, they're just kids getting to be kids just chilling out in the flag, and it also just reminded me of like that sort of divide between me and my younger siblings where like I have a job, I'm in college, I have all these things that make me tired, and then like they'll be demanding like I do all this stuff for them, and I'm just like, damn it, don't do this to me. You know what I mean? Like I'm sure you guys have gone for that too, right? Where you're just too exhausted. And so when I just saw like the difference between like um Anne and Sprig's group, I was like, yeah, I get that.
yeah, like yeah, I wouldn't be able to relate to that in my family because like I'm the younger one, but I guess when I'm hanging out with the like younger cousins and like came back from like came back from work and visiting somewhere, it's like, man, I just want to like lie down, but
Yeah,
or
exactly.
like I'm getting pulled, I'm
Like
being
I
tugged on the
promised.
shoulder.
Yeah, I know. Like I just got back home from work and I just want to take a nap for an hour or two, but because I promised I'd do something for them right before I go to work, apparently I have to do that first. Like I feel like they just I don't know. That's just so captured well by this family, and that's what I just really love about the planters here. Also, it's just nice for them to like for the group to be sort of broken up like that because usually when you think about the planters, it's just like spraying against the world, right? So it's just it is kind of nice to like explore this family in different ways. So yeah, I know it's an opener that only lasts for like 10 seconds, but I don't know, man. I just love it.
Yeah, I like how like Anne was about to like fall off and like Hop Up has to like just casually like pulls her back up with his tongue while also exhausted, but and there's
Yeah,
like no urgency in his face. It's just
yeah. Man.
this is why Anne's responsible in season 3.
yeah, pretty much like and yeah, like Sprig and Polly are like begging them to like just drive a few more hours and they're like, nah. Just like they just like, immediately lie down on the bed, face flat, like and I like how Sprig and Polly like bring up their Quarler's Pass experience. And we also get that nice bit of continuity how Anne was the only one who read Bessie's manual. That's why like she's the only one allowed to drive other than Hop Hop.
Yeah, it's all those little things, man. Like it really just gives the planters' relationship with one another weight. Just knowing like these episodes might not like build into like a huge plot that shakes the status quo, but no, but it gives the characters more weight. Like it makes the relationships more rounded. Just having little tiny notes like that between them, like I just love that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and especially and I like how yeah, like when Hop Up, I love how like the casual delivery of like Bill Farmer. It's like, oh, you when they offer to drive the flag, it's like, oh, you poor ignorant kids or something like. And then he goes into like paranoid mode about like the creatures lurking at night in Amphibia.
Yeah, dude. Oh my god, I was flashbacking. Do you remember like that 2B promo where it's like the song that's playing a pop up saying Amphibia changes at night. And it's like boom, boom, like do you remember that? Like that one promo thing.
Uh,
Oh, was that like
Like
a
if I had it
TV?
right here, it was like
Was it like a TV spot?
go ahead. Yeah, it was a TV spot. Yeah,
the Creepy
it was like
Paranoid Hop Up is great
it was
pop
like
up though.
Paranoid Hop Hop. It showed it was like it was just clips. It was clips pulled straight from Night Drivers and Return to Wartwood, like just for these
Oh,
two new
right. It was
episodes.
just
But
those two
yeah, it
episodes.
was
And it was like
like
new Amphibia. Yeah, yeah.
and
Yeah.
like yeah, as soon as Hop Hop said that, like I instantly in my head I was like, oh wow, like I remember this one promo that was used of it. I remember I come it was like such a replayable promo too because like the beat was so fun to listen to. Like if I had it right here, I would send it in. But okay, now I'm just gonna look. I'll just look for it.
Like all those like small TV spots for like season two. I think there was one before we got the official trailer. Was like from Battle of Hopadai Player and Hunter. Like that was also like surprisingly like really good. But it wasn't ever uploaded online officially. It was just like a TV spot. But yeah, they're always great. Yeah. So while Anne and Hop Hop pretty much just like crash and like go to sleep for a few hours, Sprig and Polly are on top of the flagon, frustrated, but eventually Sprig comes up with a scheme to like just drive Bessie, pretty much drive Bessie for the next few hours. While yeah, we can hear you, Nick. Pretty much drive a few hours while Anne and Hop Hop are like fast asleep, and then like eventually there'll be two. Wait, I think Sprig mentioned that it's like once they get to Warwood, like they won't be mad at them for driving. Was that right, Pickle?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So I think right before they take the wheel, like we get the flashbacks of not flashbacks. We get to see what Hop Hop and Anne are dreaming about, and I guess starting with Hop Hop, like I just thought it was like hilarious that like we got to see all of his greatest fears, and what did they look like? I think it was
It was those giant bug things. Those like death and
yeah, I think it was like death and then heartbreak and like
Yeah,
old
like
age.
old age too. I think. Yeah,
Yeah, Nick. Yeah, we can
but
hear
old
you.
age and death were different.
yeah, they're on different ones.
Maybe not old age, just like mobility, like lack of like unable to like do anything, like mobility. I don't know. And then the last one, I'm trying to like zoom in on it. Okay, they kind of like skip over it.
I just remember that everyone was talking about how Hop Pop's fear of death was clearly foreshadowing that he's gonna die.
Yeah, like
Those were
yeah,
the days.
yeah,
And
yeah. Because it's like
they're making old people jokes. I was so sure of that the whole time, and I was glad I was right.
they've been making fun of the idea of this old man dying since day one. So it's like it's
Yeah, like Nick, the same thing happened during Gravity Falls. Like everyone thought Stan was gonna die. And it's like even the slightest thing of like a paper sock puppet coming on fire. It's like, oh, Stan's gonna die, and like same thing for Amphibia. It's like any time like Hop Hop like trips the wrong way, it's like, oh man, Hop Hop's gonna, you never know. Like,
yeah, like I don't know. It's just funny how these things work. Like I don't know. I guess people just get so hyped up for like I don't. It's really just I don't even know how to explain it. Like it's just kind of impossible. Like I feel like there's just this when you have these number of coincidence. Why can't I not talk tonight? Like coincidence. I can't talk.
Coincidences.
coincidences.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know why you can't talk, but yeah, when you have that happen quite a few times, I guess like all this hype starts building up, and suddenly everyone builds up this huge theory, and it's like I don't know. I feel like if you just step back and you just look at things from a different perspective, like, oh, okay, I can see why this makes no sense.
I just think that it's like I wouldn't call it exactly a coincidence. I would just call it like people misinterpreting the jokes about him being old as like foreshadowing when it's just they're making fun of him for being old.
Yeah, no, that's right. Yeah, because it's like come on, it's Hop Pop. The show's been bullying him. The show will bully Hop Pop about literally anything. So they will bully him about his fear of death. Like they've always been doing it too. Like there's just seriously, like you go back to season one, there's so many like super dark and horrifying lines this old man just drops. Like I I think there's one in Civil War where like they're about to watch the movie, and he's like, "Ah, a great way to distract us from our deep, deep, terrifying thoughts." And like he just kills the mood for everyone for a good 10 seconds before they finally sit down to go check out the movie. Like Hop Pop's been saying stuff like that since episode one. That's never changed.
And yet somehow everyone missed the Marcy death flags until it actually happened. No one saw that one coming.
I don't even know what to say.
And they
Yeah,
were literally like
that one was
screaming it in our
yeah.
face.
Yeah, like yeah, Mars is especially an interesting one because I guess yeah, when you do like look back at things of hind, I think yeah, that is one of my favorite things about like Marcy. It's just the fact that like everything doesn't click until you have that huge revelation, pretty much.
And then eventually, like, Hop Hop realizes he can control this dream and immediately takes control and just starts flying and then rips his shirt off and with joy and all of his like fears become little tiny cute animals like it's just great.
And hey, I mean, let's just be. I feel like I just want to say, like, let's just be happy that Hop Hop conquered, one of his fears later on. Like the fear of old age with Mother Ohm. Like, I just realized that.
They had him like accept it.
Yeah, like, yeah, that was pretty sweet. Yeah, I mean, looking back in hindsight, like the fact that this is one of his biggest fears and he got that, I like that.
Yeah, and I like how it's like Hop Hop's dream like started off as like a nightmare and then became a dream, and then for Anne we get to see the opposite where she's like in this like candy land, and when she finds out the guy like that ice cream guy's made of licorice, it's like everything like falls apart.
Yeah, I mean, poor girl though. She's gotten used to eating bugs and actually kind of likes it now. But like, dude, she just wants to eat some normal food. Like, poor Anne.
I understand that.
Yeah, the music is like super like upbeat. Yeah, I can't wait till TJ Hill like releases this because it's like
Oh yeah, 100,000%. Yeah, I'm. Oh, but yeah, God. Yeah, like I never realized how good the music is in some Amphibia episodes until I just like and stop and just try to like listen to it. Like yeah, like this just sounds really, I don't know, just really entertaining, honestly.
it sounds like it sounds like a Dance Dance Revolution song.
Ooh, yeah, yeah, no, I can hear it.
Okay, and then yeah, it cuts like back to both of their expressions while asleep, but it's like Hop Off's like super like peaceful and Anne's just suffering and good stuff. Yeah, and then while they're asleep, like Polly and Sprig take control of the wagon. You know, they do a little flip and they're having fun and complimenting each other's night driving skills, and then eventually they get to the this like gorge with falling rocks, and they're unfazed until like one of them. Sprig calls them pebbles, and then until one of these pebbles, quote pebbles unquote, with like with bones in them, like frog bones in them, somehow like just drops really close to them. They start freaking out and get Bessie through quick. I guess the only thing I can really talk about is like the weird gag where like when they're going through this like these falling rocks and Hop Up and Anne are just like getting tossed around and conveniently go into a like position where like Hop Hop is looks like a pig, like a stuffed pig. Like that was just such a weird gag.
Yeah, that's right. I feel like I see it. I feel like you see that kind of joke in a lot of TV shows, right? Where like, well, where they just, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like they
that's
just do
I'm
that
not
whole
sure
thing.
which one though or which ones.
Yeah. Because I swear, yeah, I know what you mean. Because I feel like I've seen it in like I feel like it's because it's been in so many TV shows that you just don't like you just can't point out another one. Like I feel like it's one of those like sort of like universal jokes like that. Like what is it called? Like that Willem scream.
The Wilhelm scream.
Yeah.
Yeah, so eventually they get out of that. There's a lot of like there's a lot of like visual like gags in this episode where like Sprig and Polly are just like going through this forest and like they're like looking out and seeing all the different creatures. Like there's like one bird that just shouts out murder. Like there's like they show like a mouse like a mouse getting like eaten by a snake and a bunch of eyes that belong to like that looks like it's like multiple creatures but it's actually just one crawling up. It's
Mm.
oh, and then eventually they find a hitchhiker. And I guess since we're just discussing this episode, we can just call him Zechariah. Like they find this hitchhiker, they're approaching him, and then they realize like he has like a hook for a hand and looks like all scarred and terrifying. They immediately like drive off. Like
God, yeah. This is just such a creepy episode. Like on so many levels. Like just like it. Because there's so much danger around them, and the fact that they're out, like because of the flagon, like the flagon's a place of comfort, man. Like when you look inside it, like it just looks so damn comfy, and the fact that they're just outside, exposed to such this creepy environment, like I hate it. Like it's so unnerving. And like what's funny is that this episode didn't even air in October, and it would have been perfect, but like I mean that's just scheduling.
yeah, like so many of these episodes like have like a like so many Amphibia episodes. It's like I guess we know we have episodes like Night at the Inn, Children of the Spore, Root of Evil, like those are all like the I guess not officially a Halloween episode, but could pass off as a Halloween episode. Then you have the Shut-In, which is an actual Halloween episode, and then you have like episodes like Night Driver and maybe I'm not sure what else could be like Halloween-ish episodes, but not to the same extent as like the first few I mentioned earlier.
I wouldn't call Amphibia like a horror show or like a PG horror show even, but it does do like a surprisingly large amount of it for a show that isn't about that.
Yeah, like I guess they really did set up the world well to sort of like have episodes like these and not let it feel inorganic. Like not let it feel inorganic. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it does. Like this does feel. I mean, this is a very weird episode. Like a lot of weird stuff happens like that. Like the not to jump forward too quickly, but like that one miss that's like Polly Spring. What was that? Like what the hell was that? But like it somehow just feels right for Amphibia because like it's already been set up to be this dangerous and weird place since season one.
Yeah, and even when they pass through the foggy fjords, like they hear the voices and they see all like the large creatures just like walking about. It's like really like I know it's just meant in the. I wish we got to like see what those creatures actually were, but of course this was just meant for this episode, just to like just make the setting feel a lot more creepier and unsettling. But it's like those things were
They could have done
huge. Like, oh, go ahead, Pickle.
they could have done something with like the Moss Men or the the Shadowfish just to like get people all up in their seats again about it. But I feel like that could have kind of diverted the episode because then everyone would just be like thinking about that instead of the actual episode, which it doesn't actually have to do with those specific creepy creatures.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it would have been cool to see like a moss like a shadowfish looking about, but yeah, it wouldn't add up to anything the same way the Moss Man did. And I like how even in the fog, Sprig still makes that foggiest idea joke, and Polly punches him for it.
Yeah, I love
Deserved.
that. Yeah, because like it's I just love it because like when I heard it the first time, right before Polly, because like when I heard it the first time, I was like, oh, did Spring just make a pun? Was that on purpose? And Polly punched him. Like I was like, oh, like I don't know. I just love that moment.
Yeah, then eventually they see the ghost Zechariah again. They start freaking out. I love all of Polly's like close up shots in this episode. Like I think earlier she makes the joke about like being eaten 8 times, and they zoom in and her voice changes. Like, and then here they make the don't make eye contact joke, and it just shows like Polly and it just shows Polly like just like staring. Her eyes are huge with Zechariah. I just love that
Yeah,
expression she
100%.
makes.
Yeah, like oh yeah, like this. Yeah, Paul's expressions were on point this episode. Like yeah, I just love when Zechariah he just shows them again. Their eyes just pop out of her socket. Like dude, that's so fucking funny.
Oh yeah, that mode happens later on. I thought you were talking about this the one that we have as an emote. Yeah.
Oh, sorry about that.
No, yeah, you're right though. Yeah, that was also. I think Bessie does the same thing later too.
It's always a cartoon. It's always a quality cartoon joke when they have like the eyes go boing.
Yeah, and then oh, go ahead, Pickle.
That's all.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so they see Zechariah again. He points in one direction. The kids just decide to go the other. Uh, this path is like super super dangerous. We get that shot of them going through the fog, and like a bunch of like monsters are trying to grab them, and then we get to actually see like a cameo by Frobo in this moment, trying to reach them, which is weird. We're still not sure. We'll talk about Frobo later. uh, but yeah, that's just like a nice I thought that was the only cameo we'd get of Frobo in this episode, but then we get something a little more substantial later on.
I guess they're trying to tease him because he doesn't get introduced much.
Yeah, he'll get introduced like later on. But they just want to remind us that he's still there. Yeah, eventually they think they've escaped this evil spirit, but then they feel the classic like ghost thing where you feel like a chill on your back, and he's like on top of the flagon, and he grabs the reins, and Sprig and Polly fight him over it. Like, you know, Zechariah like grabs Polly by the bow and she like lunges at him. I guess yeah, this is just kind of like a struggle / chase, and well, not chase, just like it's a struggle on top of this flagon, and then eventually, uh, they pull back the. Eventually, Bessie comes to a stop, and Polly and Sprig are still end up okay and find themselves right outside the valley. I kind of just went over like that a bunch of that episode, but yeah, I think. Do we want to talk about the twist of the episode now, or? Yeah, I
think we've covered everything.
Yeah, like when we find out that like once they get to like the edge of this like mountain that's right outside the valley, they find a statue of the spirit that was chasing them, named Zechariah Nettles, who used to like guide travelers like on like a safer path, or used to guide travelers like through the valley. And like there are rumors that his like spirit still guides people today. And then like you kind of find out that like this guy was like basically trying to save Polly and Spring this entire time. And I really like how when you revisit the episode, you can see like all the actions he was taking to like try and like look out for them when they thought he was trying to kill them.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's also just, oh wow, like I didn't even think about this, but I guess like ghosts are real in Amphibia, like they're actual, real, genuine ghosts. Like, is he the only ghost we ever met, or were there others? Like, this opens up a whole new thing.
Yeah, I think this is the only one.
Okay. Like I was thinking, like, are there gonna be any vengeful spirits want to take down the court? Just imagine that.
You're gonna have to go to the Ghost and Molly McGee for that.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
Yeah, I like those small details of like I think even when Polly was about to like fall off the flagon, and like he actually saved Polly. Like that's why he grabbed her, right?
Yeah, I think so. And he was also like steering the cart on the edge of the cliff.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, I see. Yeah. No,
like
I
Polly.
Just love the fact that like
Polly and Sprig were like trying to steer off the cliff. Yeah. Oh, sorry, Nick, you're saying?
Yeah, you're right. No, you're wrong. You're not wrong. Because like, yeah, the way they were steering, they would have fucking fallen off the cliff and died. Like he saved their lives. Like they were making his job so hard.
Yeah, like I know he only has like one expression, but it's like he's probably like thinking like these stupid.
Yeah, like Oh man. He's
Uh,
like, I haven't gone to heaven yet because of these kids. Like, I haven't. Like, I don't know. Man. I'm rewatching the scene where he saves Polly, and like, yeah, he literally tries to tackle him, and he just fucking like he just dodges. He's like, oh shit, like he just dodges, and he has to quickly save her. It's so funny.
yeah, and yeah, it's nice to know that like not everything in Amphibia is like out to kill them.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sprig and Polly make this realization, and around this time, like Hop Hop and Anne wake up, and I like how Hop Hop's like, you kids better not have disobeyed me," and just sees the sign.
Oh yeah, dude, that's such a good joke. Like the timing, like everything's on point.
Yeah, then we get like, then Anne notices like Sprig and Polly, and then they're just like, they're like just delirious.
I guess they can't punish kids who are having a mental break, so.
Yeah.
I love how they're just driven to insanity. I just love that. They had one hell of a night. Like I don't even like. This is probably the most. I feel like it. This might. I feel like this might be the most bizarre that the world of Amphibia has ever just gotten. I know we had like a cult. I know we had like mind control sports, but this is just like. This is so out there in a completely different direction. Like at least everything else had like just sort of do with like I don't want to call like mind controlling sports tangible things, but like at least it has something to do with like the monster of the city. Here it's just like what the hell is going on? Like this just feels like something so out of like a normal territory in Amphibia. Like I love it and it does fit, but it's also just holy shit, right? Like it's just there's just like so much to it.
Yeah, just like it's like a ghost helping them out. That's
Yeah.
yeah, at least with Amphibia, like the mind control stuff, it's like all like tangible or has its own like insane explanation.
Yeah. Like here it's just like they experienced all this because they just took a wrong turn and there's no going back for them at that point. Like it's just it's just crazy.
But yeah, like Anne and Hop Hop grab the kids and head out back into head towards Wartwood, and Anne and Hop Hop talk about their dreams briefly. And then the episode ends with the shot of Frobo, like not too far behind them, like slowly like making his way into the valley.
Oh, holy
And
crap. Robo just gets oh sorry.
yeah, I'm pretty much done.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say like holy crap, Robo just gets like so many T's. Like I forgot like I forgot that I forgot like he just had this many. Like I feel like I'm just used to like the first couple of teases he gets from like Form the Road to like and yeah, what was it, and Hunter, stuff like that. Like I was just used to like that, but dude, my God, he's just everywhere in season two before he finally drops in on Friend or Frollo.
Even I wouldn't say it was like everywhere. It was like Fort in the Road, Anna Hunter, Ballad of Hoppet Planner, uh, Lost in Utopia.
No, I think it was the March at the Gates too, wasn't he?
Was it Mercy at the Gates
Was he
too?
not?
I know Lost in Utopia, like it opens
Can't
with him
remember.
in the same spot as them. Like he's like stuck in there, like stuck in the spot that Anne and the players first see in Utopia.
Okay.
Uh, and I think this is his last like teaser episode, like his last cameo before he makes his debut, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, might be.
Okay, so I guess
And of course, he should have been Friend or Frobo, and then he's sort of part of the main cast.
right. I guess is there anything we want to talk about Frobo here? Because I think this is going to be our last like chance. Like I have stuff to talk about. I think Nick probably knows what I want to say about these teasers.
Okay. I mean, I was gonna say like this, yeah, I don't know. No, it was like a whole thing I was thinking of. It was the whole thing I was thinking of, but like, yeah, I don't know. It's just like I've been thinking about lately with Amphibia and just what it likes to do with its plot and story, and just yeah, I feel like episodes like Night Drivers just kind of show what it's all about when it comes to Amphibia, right? Just because nowadays, when people think about plot and how shows develop themselves around that, it's all about the next big step, how we're getting to like this huge status quo crazy episode. But yeah, I do feel like that thought has sort of made people forget about what other things shows can do. And I feel like for me, Amphibia is an example of what else they can do when it comes to their story, right? Because here it's not about, when you have an episode like Night Drivers, it's not about how this is going to help them defeat Andrews or something with a core. Like God, that's like such a joke. It's a joke I make too many times, but it's just about getting to explore Polly and Sprig's like dynamic a little more. Getting to see them work together more. Just making the experience with these characters feel more rounded. And to me, like it is amazing that they do that with a show like Amphibia, right? Where its heart is about these characters just meeting each other by chance and going through all these different experiences and life-changing events that they wouldn't have if they never met each other, right? And so we need episodes like these where it's just about Polly and Sprig just driving a caravan through the night, because it's just about all the crazy things they get up to because they had the chance of meeting Anne of all people, right? And like, I'm just dropping more and more stuff here, but that's also why it's episodic. Why we just have so many random episodes that just where they just do random things, because we want the full experience of these characters being together. And that's just another way you can develop your story. It doesn't just have to be about how it's going to develop like into this huge plot point. No, it can also just be about having fun with a character, and that's what I just love about the show. Yeah, sorry about that though. Sorry, I just jumped that whole thing, but all right, now's your chance. I'm sorry.
No, like I'm glad you brought that up, Nick. Like I was just asking about Frobo, but like
Sorry,
yeah, like no. I still appreciate. Like I'll come.
That is bland.
I'll come back to that.
Yeah.
I'll come back to what you just said, like about I guess the story, like the story of like Polly and Sprig, like we need to have this like little adventure. I'll get back to that
Yeah.
later. But I guess with Frobo, like since this is our kind of like our last chance to talk about him, we just saw him like walking basically, and I probably mentioned this in like past recordings. Maybe I mentioned this with the Ant Hunter and Ballad of Hoppedeye Planner, but like you kind of wonder like why are we just seeing Frobo like walk? And maybe I'm looking too much into it, but I feel like I said this in the past, but it feels like Frobo's purpose, showing him, just having him on screen, helps the audience get get used to the idea of like this technologically advanced like thing in a world like Amphibia. And I know Fort in the Road kind of like shows us, oh, this was in the past, but like this is literally like Frobo is literally like the past catching up to our main characters. And eventually like Fender Frobo, they have them interact, but then the moment True Colors happens, the moment when Andreas activates the box and like all these factories start like become operational again, it's like there's less of a disconnect between like the audience and what's going on, because like we see like, oh, okay, we remember this, we remember all the times where like Frobo was just like hanging out, walking around, and it's like there's more like build up. Like Frobo wasn't going to be like the only like Frobot in this world. Like we were going to see like way more of him. that like our characters would have to eventually fight. And yeah, that's just my Frobo point.
No, I mean I totally get what you mean there because it does because that honestly yeah because when you do step back and you take a look at season 2, a lot of this does feel like because I mean we do get the chance to explore a lot of parts of Amphibia that just easily trump the main cast by age. I mean, like, Newtopia, the temples, the lore of the box, like all these. I mean, I'm saying, I'm down Andrews too. Andrews, the core, like, yeah, there does feel like this sort of connective feel of this past greater world of Amphibia, like catching up with the main cast here, and I guess like having Frobo there. Adding Frobo to that main cast, it does feel like a neat way to show these two things coming together. And I guess maybe Frobo didn't make as huge of a splash that like we all thought it would have. But like I think it's still like it's still nice. I think there's still something to enjoy from him. So that's my thought.
Yeah, I know Frobo can be kind of controversial as a character just because, honestly, myself and a lot of people feel like he was underutilized or just didn't get like as much attention as he could have gotten for all the build up just because of everything else going on. But I feel like as a plot point, he works really, really well as like a tool. He does having him as a character does a good job of kind of making the shift from like a large portion of the show to like suddenly having the robots feel like less of a slap in the face genre shift and more of like a we've seen this coming from like the robots popping up now and then. And he works for making he works well with Polly of especially he's good for making her go through her development, and he's good for kind of providing like solutions to things that the plot might not want to have to deal with, like how and the planters have to get into the third temple. They just have Frobo like open it, and it makes things a lot more simple instead of doing some kind of like weird gymnastics.
Right. And I guess before we get to like the final thoughts on Night Drivers, I think whoever was like around during the time this episode like premiered, like this episode, like I wouldn't call it a leak, but this episode did air like early on. I think it was in Greece, South Africa, and also Saudi. So it's not a leak. It just like officially aired in another country that wasn't America. And since it's not American, then it can't be. It can't be real. Like it can't be real. It can't exist. How can it exist outside of this region? It defies all logic. Like no, like we gotta go back to inches, guys. Like we forget metric, forget everything. Just it's a leak. We can't talk about it until it airs in America. But yeah, this episode aired early alongside I guess I forgot how like early it was, but it wasn't too far. It was like about like 2 or 3 weeks. And honestly, like the fandom wasn't like too big at the time, so it wasn't really a big deal. Like I can still see like it's so funny to me, like even now when I see people using that using clips from that version, that release of Night Driver / Return to Wartwood, and I know when they got it from. Uh, yeah, that's all I gotta say about that. But
It was a pretty amusing time back then, though, because like I know there was like a lot of hype going to 2B. So when this happened, right? Like everyone was like, "Holy shit! Holy shit! Holy shit!" Like, Like I remember like was it I think it was someone on the subreddit, right? Someone on the subreddit who said they saw this and like yeah, a lot of attention was given to that. But yeah, I don't know. It's I mean also it is pretty funny that like yeah, Night Drivers and Return to the War they're still pretty low key episodes, but like just like the fact they got leaked, like there was just okay, I guess I shouldn't be. Because I shouldn't be using the word leak after talking to the whole thing. But like, still, I don't know.
Released early in another region.
Yeah, release early. Yeah, there you go. Release earlier than my fellow Americans would be comfortable with. Like, it's like it's like I don't know. It just damn it. It's just funny because I just remember there's just so much like crazy. I don't know. There was just such a large reaction I remember seeing, and like it was just for probably two of the most low key episodes of 2B, pretty much. Like seriously, they're just about us getting back to Wartwood.
Yeah, that was an interesting time, and yeah, I guess like yeah, even Matt was confused. He was like, "Wait, what? It leaked?" And then like you just find out it was like another region. He's like, "Oh, okay." Like I think what was the confusion about? Was it because Night Drive? Like there was so much confusion about this episode and the shut-in. Like what came before, like what, and technically like the shut-in aired first, even though it was the episode after Night Driver / Return to Wartwood because of like just to match up with Halloween, but that always like caused confusion. Like even when I was like thinking about the podcast last week, I was like, wait, didn't the shut-in come after Night Driver? So shouldn't we record this before? I was like, nah, just follow like the episode release. Like don't.
Yeah, yeah. I was thinking about that too. Yeah, like it just yeah, like it just was weird looking back. But I guess it's just how Disney just wanted stuff to go.
Yeah, and I guess Pickle. Any final thoughts on Night Drivers? I guess Nick. Any final thoughts on Night Drivers?
I don't know, really fun episode. Like I said before, I would have loved just having. Like I absolutely would have just loved having more more episodes that just focus on Polly and Sprig's siblinghood. But hey, nah, it's completely fine that like this is the last one we have. But I mean, it's still a really good one to go out with.
All right, thank you, Nick. Pickle. Any final thoughts on Night Drivers? Pickle. We can't hear you, so I'm not sure if you can hear us, but I guess my final thoughts on Night Drivers was I had a lot of fun with this episode. It was a lot of like funny gags, and it was nice to see Sprig and Polly kind of like we saw like Corler's Pass where they were like at odds, and then now like Night Drivers was a nice like, continuation, except now they're like both on the same page. It's not them fighting each other; it's just them like facing whatever's like on the road. It's a nice bit of like it's like we're past that point for Spring Polly, at least in this at this moment. But yeah, and then like the Anna Hop Hop stuff was like their dream sequences were hilarious. Uh, yeah, I really liked the twist with Zechariah Nettles. That was fun, and all the lighting, all the scene, like all the scenes of this episode were like very nicely done, and how creepy they were. Especially the sunrise. The sunrise by the end was really nice too.
Yeah,
The,
You guys
yeah,
hear me now?
yeah, we can hear you, Pickle. What are your thoughts on what are your final thoughts on Night Drivers?
Solid episode overall. It's like good for kind of getting you back in the mood of Amphibia, and is and it's like it's chill enough that you don't have to like suddenly be all in it, but it's like it kind of like sets the tone back to how like all the goofy silly MTV episodes. And of course, back then all the like Frobo tidbits meant a lot, and it was really exciting to see him.
All right, thank you, Pickle. So with that, we can move on to Return to Wartwood. So Return to Wartwood was written by Adam Colas, storyboards by Alicia Rocha and Silver Paul, and directed by Kyler Spears. I feel like I don't need to ask you guys for your. Well, I will ask you guys for your general thoughts, but I know we're all thinking this was like an S tier episode, like it was.
Yeah, this is a banger, man. Like, I don't this is a banger. Like, I don't know this else to say. Yeah,
And I know we haven't been shutting up about the soundtrack, but especially this episode with the like Pickle-esque song.
Yeah, like a lot of great stuff in this one, and yeah, even speaking of music, like we immediately open up with assuming right after Night Drivers, where they're arriving into Wartwood. Hop Op's thinking about the humidity, and he missed the smell of manure as well, and Polly spots Wartwood. Sprig pulls out the fiddle and starts singing that song about like the social hierarchy in Amphibia. What was it like? A newt told a frog, a newt told a toad to give a job to a frog, but don't let them escape poverty.
yeah.
And
Like, I don't know. I always
yeah,
get mad at Mrs. Croker like talking over Spring, but like, thank God we have people who manage to like bring out what Spring said. But yeah, no, it is. I don't know. It's just it's a pretty interesting way to explain how the social caste system works in Amphibia, right? Like, wow, like it just explains so much about why certain elements in season one worked the way they did,
yeah, we got to see all
and
that
like,
form in the Core and the King, where we basically saw that happen with Andreas.
ooh, yeah, absolutely, yeah, that was just like that's I feel like yeah that's why the episodes like the Corn and the King just felt like such a good watch, like just not just seeing Andreas being explored as a character, but also just like the fact that sort of like the I guess the world building like it felt like we were rewarded for getting invested in Amphibia's world building, right? Because since season one, like that's when we found out about the conflict, right, between like the frogs and toads, and then we explained it, and then we got introduced into like the Newt Society, and we got to understand just who's really the top dog of Amphibia here, and so when we finally get the origin, like I don't know, there's just something that felt so rewarding about it, even so it didn't change anything, and it was just an explanation. It's just wow, like I just love how this because there's this arbitrary division between races that was only sprouted because of someone's bitter feelings towards their best friends, and it's just yeah, when you're already so into the world building of the show, like it's just so awesome to hear it.
Yeah, I mean the the Amphibia cast system is something I could talk for way too long about. I mean, it sounds wrong, but I really love the way that Amphibia does like the like species based racism type thing in their story. It just works so well with world building, and it like I mean, like you said, with the later context, it also makes sense why things have ended up like this, and it just it's a really interesting thing, and it's always funny when they just bring it up flat because for most of the show, it's very much either like implied or like you only talk about those like simple parts like the toads and frogs hate each other, but they don't really get into the why and the like how. Except in the text, and then sometimes they just hit you in the face with, "Oh yeah, this is a song about exactly what we've been hinting at in the background," or like when when Mercy brings it up earlier in the season, just like casually in conversation, it gets glossed over.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah. That is so. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
oh, I was just gonna like just in agreement. Yeah, like all this background lore is nice to have, and we got the explanation for it, and just makes the world more like I don't want to say yeah. I guess I could say more real, at least to the character, at least to this world. This world feels more. I just said. I just realized I said this world feels more real to this world, but like we get to see like the inner yeah, just seeing the social hierarchy in this world and how that came to pass and all these little mentions of it. It doesn't feel like it gives us a better understanding of like why these characters operate the way they do with other races or other species in this case. Uh, before I move on, like Nick, you wanted to say something, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, no, I was gonna say yeah. It's just crazy how it's just so casually brought up and no one ever questions it because I think yeah that does. Yeah, I was gonna say like yeah, that's just like I guess it's like a neat detail to sort of show how much their society has accepted. It's like clearly they don't like it, but it's just been the status quo for so long that they don't even bother being active about changing it.
Right. And yeah, Mrs. Croker recognizes the sound of Sprig's irritating voice and rings the bell and gets everyone's attention that the planners have returned. And the whole town like gathers to like greet them again, and we just get to see all the townsfolk again. It's really nice how I'll talk about like not too I'll talk about it in a few minutes, but like we're basically reuniting with everyone. We're almost we haven't seen most of these characters for almost at this point in when this episode aired in like 2021. It was about like a year and a half because yeah, sure we saw Wally, we saw oh wait, I just saw this. We had the shut-in, but the shut-in isn't canon, so we'll just ignore that. For 1.5 years, like we didn't officially see uh other than Wally and Loggle, like these are the characters are reuniting after so long. Like we got to see, I guess from the reference of like someone in season one, it's like we're seeing the cast with interact with like the rest of the town after so long, basically. So it's like having Return to Wartwood felt that's what really it kind of like brought up the nostalgia of season one. And like Anne makes a little like woodworking joke with Loggle, and Toadstool's being Toadstool with talking about the market, and Wally we got to see his side quest or side adventure, but and then Ivy gets to do her ambush. And it's all like nice, cute stuff.
Yeah, 100%. Like this is just a really solid reunion, man. I mean, it yeah, not only just like all the little callbacks, like no, like because like the callback to them meeting Wally on their journey, yeah, it gives nice weight to 2A. Then just all the little like callbacks to what we left behind from season one gives weight to that. Like it's just a really solid way to do reunion. I loved it.
Yeah, and yeah, everyone reunites, and then Stumpy suggests that they can all catch up over like at his place, and that's when Hop Hop can bring everyone's gifts over, and you see Polly and Hop Hop like freeze up, and everyone starts talking about gifts, and Polly and Polly just immediately like she immediately draws out her the acting skills she inherited from Hop Hop and immediately gets them all out of there, away from the townsfolk. And I guess I'll keep going here, but it's we see
I'm sorry, I was rewatching
like
that. I just love that scene so much.
yeah,
Like
that
Polly's
whole
just
scene
on
of
it. Like
them frantically searching for the list, the wish list that they made. Polly's tossing stuff aside. We get to see Michelangelo is still relevant, and she just tosses him out. And we find out the one issue I think that people had with the beginning of the season 2 premiere was that we didn't see them say goodbye to the townsfolk. And then this episode kind of explains oh wait, no, Polly and Hop Hop did say did interact with all the townsfolk, and they made a wish list of all the stuff that everyone wanted from Wartwood, and then they put the list in a special place where they wouldn't forget, and then they forgot, and then now it's coming back, and it's just that
Just
nice.
like me for real.
Pardon?
Oh, I just said just like me for real.
Yeah, that was such a relatable moment. It's oh, we forgot to get this for him, and fuck. it's and I know Nick's gonna bring this up. I'll let Nick cover this, but yeah, keep in mind that the main casts have never recorded together. They've always recorded separately, but this scene with all of them interacting off one another was just you wouldn't be able to tell. If you told me they were all in the same room recording this, I would believe you. It's just that's how good the that's how good the main cast is. Brenda Song, Justin Fieldberger, Amanda Layton, Bill Farmer, all of them are work so well together. I know Nick.
100,000%. I don't like. I won't pop off for too long, but yeah, I don't know, man. This is because when it comes to complimenting Amphibia, one of the most common, compliments you see is the voice cast, right? People absolutely love the voice performance of Amphibia, and this, yeah, a scene like this, honestly, an easy one would be for me to just, pull up a Keith David scene. Let me I could be a cheap motherfucker and just go with Keith David, but nah, I wouldn't do that. No, but this, yeah, this would be one of my go-to examples because it's just so amazing how they bounce off of each other comedically, and you never would have guessed that they're all being, recorded separately. And I feel like part of that does have to go to I think it would be the editor who handles this, but it's not even just it's everyone here working together, but just the voice cast themselves, they're just so amazing at their job that it just feels like such a real and organic conversation going on here. I just love it.
And all these moments are so hilarious. Polly is pulling out her being a baby card, and Anne's immediately comforting her, and then just immediately shifts all the blame to Hop Hop.
Yeah, I know, I love that. Yeah,
And then
I just love how Anne, yeah,
yeah, and then Sprig's freaking out about Ivy, and Anne's freaking out
yeah,
about Spryvy. It's all
yeah. Look, I just love that. All the plan is, my God, Hop Pop's trying to I don't know, I don't know, everyone's just on point here. It's I don't know how to describe it, but yeah, everyone's just being so them. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. You guys know what I mean? They all want the same thing at the end of the day, I'm keeping this a secret so nothing bad happens, but I love how it's all for their own reasons. Polly, she just wants to be a baby who escapes responsibility. Hop Up just doesn't want to deal with any of this. Then Sprig's oh shit, I can't sync my relationship with Ivy, and then Anne's just being a shipper, and it's I don't know. I just love it. Like everyone's personality here just shining through.
I like how all of them know that they're about to do something horrible, but they like all agree. Yep, we're doing it. We're doing it. And then Anne's like,
Yeah,
especially suspicious, but she's doing it for Sprivey.
which is a good reason, of course. Like, like I don't know. I just love it.
Sprivey is the
Everyone's
best shit.
here. Everyone, yeah.
Yeah, and the facial
Like
expressions are
every.
also amazing too.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Like it's just like there's just so much personality to this. I feel like is what I was trying to get at here. Like you can really like this is like every planter they're acting in a way that like that's just natural to them. You know what I mean? Like that's just what I love about this scene.
And I like people pointed out how Hop Up, the way Hop Up like worded this, where he's like, "Oh, I'm sure we'll find a way to bury this so no one finds out." It's like, ooh, like next
Yeah,
episode.
yeah. Yeah, like yeah, you know what's coming, you know what's coming. It's like Hubble doesn't even he doesn't even know himself. God damn it.
They were just messing with us at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It actually, I don't know. It did occur to me that Hop Hop kind of has a lying problem throughout the show because his character trait is being very honest, but then like his character conflict is having that tested. Like they do the
yes,
whole thing with him, like yeah,
Yeah, because those are the values he wants to live up to, but then like you just have like the tragedy of his past like constantly just like pretty much just stopping him, right? Like from living up to like an ideal version of himself. It's just, yeah, it's just really great. Like makes him one of the best characters on the show, hands down.
it's sort of ironic in a way.
Yeah. The irony right there. Like what do people call that? Like an ironic. There's like something like an ironic trait. I don't think they call it that, but it's something. I know what you're getting. Like I've heard it before. Yeah.
like I know how like Hop Up's supposed to be the adult, but like I know like Nick, you and I discussed like the seven deadly sins of Hop Hop. Like a lot of his
Oh
episodes are him
yeah.
like
Yeah.
testing his virtue. But yeah, we get that quick joke with we go back to the planter farm and it's covered with tulips, and Chuck makes a return this episode where instead of
Let's go.
yeah he grew tulips. There's a difference.
Like I
That's
think Matt even said like that was
special.
like a last minute detail, right?
Yeah, it was a last minute thing. I'm glad they did it.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so they got the blackboard out. They're coming up with ideas, and Sprig Sprig suggests calling in the Chickalis, which is some sort of like elder god that just doesn't eat frogs but likes treasures. And he got the book from Maddie, which the book happens to be covered with skin. Which is just, typical Maddie. But
Of course it is, yeah.
and the planners have no problem doing a little bit of what did Hop Hop describe it as? Like eldritch magic?
Yeah, I think you said that. Oh, just magic, yeah.
Yeah, and then we get this quick montage of them like
Yeah.
gathering materials for the summoning. And
Yeah, okay, yeah. See, this is what like I haven't gone over this on the podcast before, but this is what just makes me look at Return of Warwood as if it's like a sort of parody of season one in a way. Like, no, sorry, not like a satire in a way, because it feels like they're sort of mocking how they developed season one episodes, where like a lot of it, where like obviously, yeah, it takes place in Warwood, but then a lot of episodes center around a character just refusing to like open up or just tell the truth on something, and so they go to extreme ways to cover that up, right? And like, of course, then you just have like the silly montage, and dude, and like They're trying to summon an Eldritch God here. What the fuck? Like usually they're just running around collecting ingredients or something, right? Like usually they get a map and they just try to explore Wartwood or something, right? Like that. But here they're trying to summon a fucking like god, an actual god, just to get out of disappointing their friends and family. Like what the fuck? like that to me just feels like a funny way of looking back at season one, just thinking like, oh wow, I really like. I don't know, like you guys know what I'm getting at here. Like it always felt that way to me.
Yeah.
Just
Oh,
they're just doing a little trolling. Don't worry about it.
yeah. This.
But actually, on the rewatch.
Oh,
Oh,
go
you
ahead,
go
Pickle.
ahead.
No, you go first, Pickle.
Okay. So actually, I realized like on the rewatch when they're doing that like montage as they get all the stuff for summoning the god, they like there's like a scene where they get grabbed by some tentacles, and like I think that's a reused asset later on, like in the like I forget it was beginning of the end or all in when they get grabbed by all the robot arms of Darcy. Instead of that, if I can find the images, I'll send those in chat if I do.
Oh wow, yeah, that'd be good to.
Yeah, I feel like I can yeah, I feel like I can kind of see that in my head. Yeah,
I wouldn't expect that, but yeah, like if that was the case, I don't think anyone in the fandom has brought that up before.
yeah, I don't think I've seen it. Yeah.
But yeah, like Nick, I agree with the way this episode does feel like a parody, not parody, yeah, satire of like season one, where it's like Anne mentions, "Oh, we already learned this lesson." It's like, but we're gonna do it anyway, and like because it's this episode like goes so over the top. That's what just makes it funny. It's just
Yeah,
it's not them
like
like
it's just
it's not them like trying to like they are still covering it up. But it's like this time it's like nah, like forget learning a little lesson. We're gonna summon a god. And then like
yeah,
even
exactly.
when we get to the moment with the summoning, it's like we like this is like Amphibia. This moment was like became like a meme where they're like playing play the forbidden notes.
Play the
Oh
notes.
yeah, that is yeah. If there's any amphibian meme that's iconic, it's that one. Like I've seen so many iterations of that. Like I can't even find the original version online. Like I tried, and it's just like, and it's like a Megalovania from Undertale or something. Like I swear, like
I mean, I did make a version of the forbidden note when the non-American version was released, but I kind of regret not posting it early because I was respecting the Americans, but just so I could claim credit to being the first one. But oh well.
oh man, Tom, you could have become no, you could have been the first one, Tom. No.
How many fandom memes are you responsible for?
You'd be surprised, but that's just me.
I know you mentioned the like.
That's just me bragging, but yeah, it's that was a different time. I was young, full of energy and time, mostly time, free time. uh, yeah, so they do the summoning and then like there's a giant like portal, not portal, like just giant beam in the sky and just suddenly cuts and they all casually just go to Stumpy's. And I just love how casual they are about it.
Like that's just what made me just believe in the fact that it's a satire. But yeah, no, I just love it. Like the planners, they're just so used to like their own BS at this point that it's just fine. Like they don't even think about the consequences of what they just did.
Yeah, then they go off the Chickalist like awakens from like the mountain it's sitting on, and then it cuts back to Stumpy's. They're having their dinner and everyone's hanging out. And I love the signs. They say welcome back. It's like welcome back planners, also presents. and then there's like there's a larger sign on Stumpy's restaurant, just says "Welcome Presents." So
Yeah, like
I know like the town is like the town was really pushing for those presents.
I mean, we just know like Vegas. I don't know. Yeah, we know Warwick can just be weird like that.
Yeah, and Sprig and Ivy are sitting together, and like Ivy's so excited for her red sun, like sun shell, or and Sprig is like, oh yeah, it doesn't matter though, right? And then Ivy's like, yeah, it kind of does, and Sprig's like thinking, oh no. But like, I just love the animation on Sprig's face. I feel like, let me check who worked on this episode. I hope Arosha worked on that one.
Yeah, the expressions are so good here.
Like, because I know she loves drawing Sprig, so I hope that was the case for him. Yeah, and Sprig is relieved when the Chickalist finally arrives, and we get to see the Chickalist has like its own jingle or its own like music, like Pickle mentioned earlier, and I don't know. It reminded me of some sort of like fast food commercial. Like that feels like something I would hear for like a KFC ad. Because I'm so used to hearing like the Chick-fil-A or whatever. Like, but Maddie is like super excited to see the Chickalist. It's like she understands she understands that she's meeting a god, and but no one can understand what it's saying because apparently it's like its language is older than written history, and it starts eating the presents, and the townsfolk immediately rush in to attack it, and that's when pretty much like a fight breaks out, where the planners thought like the townsfolk would just accept the fact that their gifts were being taken from them, but no, that didn't happen. I guess once we get into the fight, I really like how the planners are in their like they're in action mode. Like Polly pulls out Doris, which was her rolling pin. That was like her. I think this is the first time we're seeing. This is the only time we're seeing Polly with the rolling pin since Best Franz, actually.
What the shit? Yeah, yeah, because I swear, like, yeah, I remember when she threatened Anne, right? Because she thought she was gonna eat them. But like, what the shit? Yeah, like that. Yeah, that's a weird thing, but she never used it for anything, huh?
The return of Doris.
Yeah.
I had to.
I guess her.
Oh yeah, like I had to bring up Doris, which was Polly's rolling pin, because I feel like no one, like not many people would be like who's Doris? Like what?
Yeah, I was thinking now. I was literally just thinking about that right now. Wow, Doris, huh?
Yeah, and
Wow, no.
yeah, I like how like Anne's got her sword out. Polly's got Doris. Hop Hop is just like I forget like Hop Hop is pretty much like a brawler. Like he doesn't have a weapon. Like he's kind of like
Yeah, that man was ready to box him. Like he was gonna box a god. Like what the hell, Hop? I'm just looking back. Yeah, Hopper was just straight up ready for that. Wow. Yeah. But you gotta love the plan just rising up together though.
yeah, and Sprig has Ivy in his arms. What a Chad, Sprig.
Yeah, what a beast.
Even though he's technically lying to her, but we'll ignore that for now.
But yeah. But he's staying with him now, so it's fine. Yeah. But oh no, I wanted to bring it up, but dude, I just love Chickalist is actually Nicholas was actually a nice guy. He was just like he thought he was actually just invited here to eat, man, eat and party. Like he didn't know he didn't even want to fight anyone until they provoked him.
Yeah, like yeah, like he was just ready to have some fun, and they just started attacking him. Basically, like that's what happened.
Like, it was like presents for me, guys. Oh, you shouldn't have.
Yeah, like
Like I love
he
that.
got called. He got called to the party. Just like the presents were there, so it's like I don't blame him for assuming it was for him. Like, but yeah, Chickless did nothing wrong. Oh, and I
Yeah,
forgot how
exactly.
Chicklist is basically like check the list basically.
Oh my! What the? No, no, stop. You think that was on purpose?
Yeah,
No.
wasn't isn't that why they said like
Wait.
checklist? Like, isn't
Wait. Oh my.
that's
I
how?
never realized that, man. Problem. I never realized that. I never. What the fuck? No, you're nah, nah. I'm about to have a mental breakdown. You're joking. No,
Okay,
stop it.
they've
That's not real.
we've seen
There's
deeper
no
like
way.
Nick.
No.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's why.
What the fuck? I never thought about that. Like, I never thought about that. I seriously never did. Fucking wow. Okay. This is why we need to do the podcast. So we can discover new things like this. What the fuck? Check the list. I never realized that. I never did.
Well, now you know.
What the fuck?
But yeah, some of the townsfolk immediately like rush in, and they get like petrified basically by like the chicklist, and luckily Maddie has some antidote. But then while she goes to like cure them, the rest of the townsfolk and the planners like get organized. And I like how it's just a really nice action scene. Like Anne like charges in head first. She like deflects the first blast, and Sprig, Ivy, and Wally they go along the side to blind the Chickless with like boom shrooms. Then once they get taken out, like Hop Hop, Polly, and Sylvia, they like dodge all of, like the earthquake attacks, and they go in for the hit. It's all good. It's all great stuff.
Yeah, like I especially love the shot of like yeah, Wally, Ivy, and Sprig just charging in. Like it's like a whole revolving shot. Like I just love that, man.
Yeah.
Oh no, plus the jokes here are good too. Like we have when the town founder is shot, she's like, like oh wait, I love that.
Yeah, I know Sylvia's using her nails as claws. That's
Yeah, like yeah, no, man, again, that's just so cool. I don't know, like I'm sure you're watching a fight, and yeah, dude, it's just so cool. Like, damn, they just went all out. Like this is like damn, like I know technically Night Drivers is the season premiere, but like yeah, to Return to Warwood, god damn, like this is just how you really open up like a return to like a return to like a season. You know what I mean? Like this is just yeah, this is just an amazing episode.
and you know, sorry, I'm just thinking about how like Toadstool used Toady as a shield without knowing he was turned to stone. Like,
Yeah, what the fuck? Like damn, this is what like damn. Like if I'm being honest, like if I'm being honest, this is what makes me think like is it okay that they're a couple like in the future because of how Toadstool just treats Toady? Like what the fuck, man? Like he was right at, and it wasn't even like the laser. Like it wasn't even the laser. It was fire. he was ready to allow Tony to burn to death. like, holy shit. Like I could be a little forgiving if it was the laser because he would just return the soul. Maybe they can reverse that. But dude, he used them as a shield against fire. Holy shit!
Yeah, so they like Mrs. Toadstool tries to like get Archie to tie up like the beak, but that doesn't do much. Then eventually the town goes into they form their Chickalist formation, and it's basically like it's kind of the same thing we saw in Anner Beast, where like they all the townsfolk like make a shape of something to try and ward off the beast. And I like how like this time like Anne's part of it now, and they form
Yeah.
like a giant Chickalist looking pyramid, and basically just offend the Chickalist to leave.
Yeah, like even yeah, God, the Chicklets found it racist too, dude. Like, dude, what the like? If you look over the Chicklets on the Chicklets perspective, like you just feel bad for them. Like they thought they were invited to a party, then they got beat up, and then like then like they're discriminated against. Like the like.
Yeah, he did not have a good night.
No.
Yeah, and then he just leaves after. He's like, yeah, I'm
God.
out.
Like they actually summon the god, dude. Like just the way he doesn't even fly away. He just like tell him like he just like what is he from like another dimension or something? Is that how the Chicklist works? Like
No
Jesus.
idea. Yeah, both these episodes have like pretty like weird like spirits and like elder gods. Like what?
I don't know. It's just wild how this world just works. But I do love how it always just feels fitting somewhere. Right? And I guess maybe a part of that is due to how they like design like some of these creatures. But I don't know. Like I feel like what they've done with the lore of the world, like nothing's ever felt sort of out of place in a way. You know what I mean? Like there's, I don't know. I guess yeah, I don't know how to explain it all, but like I guess there's just, I guess I could also just like attribute some of this just to the fact that yeah, that Amphibia's a world, Amphibia's lore like explores multiple different worlds, and like that already opens up the idea of some of it leaking into this world. So it's like I don't know, like a lot of it just feels fitting.
Absolutely, yeah. And the chicklist leaves, and the townsfolk are kind of side that they're kind of disappointed that they weren't able to fight hard enough to save the gifts, and they feel super bad about that. But and gives that look of disappointment at the planners, and eventually like Polly reveals that they never got the gifts to begin with, and the town immediately drops the planners.
Yeah. Now poor Anne did. Like she was just trying to protect her favorite ship, but she got roped into it.
And yeah, the plan like the rest of the town is they're like disappointed, but then they're like they handle it pretty well. They're like, yeah, we just missed you guys. Like,
Yeah.
and like even Mrs. Croker says like, oh, like you guys, like the town's been like quiet without you guys like learning lessons every week. Like, yeah, that was season one.
Yep. Fuck. I love how like Ivy's the only one who's not like you know what I mean? She's not the one who's fucking done with this. Like she's just done with this break for the day. I like like everyone's just happy to have him back, and Ivy's just total bruv face, dude. God, I love it.
But like, at least she pulls a move with Sprig to get
Yeah.
him to take her on a date. That's
Yeah.
that was pretty smooth of Ivy.
Yeah, 100%. Like I just like the Flanders dude. Like they just bring fucking like I don't know. Like like the same day they get back, they terrorize the town by summoning an eldritch god just because they don't want to deal with the repercussions of like failing to keep a promise. And like I don't know, like fuck. And like I don't know, dude. I just love it. I don't even know I don't know how else to describe it. But I just think I love it. Like how the play just fit in with Wartwood is just so awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, the episode pretty much ends off with like like Ivy giving Sprig a kiss, and Sprig is like frozen. And I love all. There's like so many jokes at the very end of this episode where it's like Sprig's freaking out, he's frozen up. Anne's freaking out. Polly drags her off screen. Sprig falls over. Maddie assumes he's like petrified and just throws an antidote at him. It's like so much, like so many gags, like so little time, and it's great.
It kind of reminds me like the ending. Sorry, I'm backtracking a little bit, but my audio was broken, so I couldn't say it earlier. But
No.
the like the town kind of be like, yeah, I'm not surprised you did something awful. Sort of reminds me of New Wartwood, where they're just kind of they'd be more confused if something horrible wasn't happening. There's some of that main character problems.
Yeah, they're used to it at
Yeah,
this point.
like the fact there's a daily activity of like it's a daily activity for the planters just to wreak havoc on town. Like I just love that. Oh, but
Well, it's like
go ahead.
and back in season 1 they say something like it's almost as if we have 2 wacky adventures per week.
Right, yeah,
Yeah,
like that was in
no.
combat camp.
Oh man, no, but I always feel bad when I hear that joke because I mean, you guys already know what happened. It's like,
Yeah, the bomb format.
yeah. Oh wait, shoot. Wait, I was gonna bring up something. Oh yeah, yeah. I don't know. No, okay. Since we probably won't be able to, since that, okay. Okay, I guess I can bring this up because like no, okay. Yeah, no, yeah, one of my favorite gags with them coming back to Warwood is just how I think yeah, it's a New War when it happens, right? And like a mob forms around Marcy, right? And like Polly's there and calls her out, and like Polly just says, "I go where the mob goes," and like, and then anytime you see a mob in 2B, Polly's there, and I just love that. Like, I love the fact they kept that up. Like that's like one of my favorite parts of rewatching that part of the series. Like, I'm sorry, I just had to bring it up because we're basically there already.
Wait, was there a mob in this episode, or?
Oh, not this episode, but I just mean like by New Warwood. Like it starts like it becomes a consistent thing in New Warwood, and after that, like
Oh,
anytime something crazy happens and there's a mob, Polly's there with the mob.
oh, okay, yeah, I remember that. I guess we've covered everything in Return to Warwood. I guess we can go into final thoughts. I guess Pickle. What are your final thoughts on Return to Warwood? Did we miss anything?
No, I think that's about it. It's a funny episode for sure, and it's a nice episode. I liked it decently.
All right, thank you, Pickle. Nick, final thoughts on Return to Wartwood.
Yeah, I just love this episode. Like it's like I've talked about. I've been on here before talking about how they're just my go-to rewatch episodes, right? And Return to Warwood is just one of them. Like so many things about this episode are just on peak. On sorry, not on peak. On point. That just makes it so easy to put on and just watch and love. Like it just feels like such a high quality episode on like every single level it could have. Like the animation, right? Like animation art, like the facial expressions, like the music, the comedy, the emotional beats, like everything here, right? Everything here just works. It feels like definitely one of Amphibia's best episodes, and like I think I've also talked in here before. Just what would I show off to sort of like get someone's amphibia and just show its better parts, and I think this would be one of those episodes.
All right, thank you, Nick. And I guess my thoughts, like, yeah, I loved Return to Wartwood. Like, this was just really nice to see all the townsfolk again. The main cast, like, interacting with them a lot, and like them reuniting with the town felt great. And I love how, like, looking back, how like Return to Wartwood, or sorry, Escape to Amphibia is kind of like the title itself seems like a play on Return to Wartwood, just the way it's like we're returning. I don't know how to describe it. Just like Return to Wartwood, Escape to Amphibia is like kind of like the similar but different titles or different meanings. Uh, but yeah, like all the humor here was great. Chuck, like our friend Chuck, uh, pulled up in the comments like Adam Cole asked, like, talking about Return to Wartwood and how like he pitched it as like a Seinfeld-y episode, and then he had to repitch it to him again when he asked about introducing ancient black magic into the lore.
Yeah, I feel like it does sort of have that Seinfeld energy, doesn't it? In some ways.
I haven't watched Seinfeld. I've watched the Looney Tunes show, which I know is like inspired by Seinfeld a lot, but I got that vibe.
Like I haven't seen, I haven't seen a ton of it myself either. But I feel like some of the clips I've seen, and then like what I've also overheard from some people, like I feel like like where it's sort of like you have these characters who are supposed to be normal people, but like you also have these moments where like you can see them at their absolute worst, and it's just played up to be and it's just played up to be comedic. And I feel like you can sort of see that in in the flagon scene where they're all there just. You know what I mean? Like it's sort of like that. I feel like that's where I get that Seinfeld vibe from.
Yeah, and like overall, I loved both these episodes. It was a great mid-season premiere, and just yeah, like I think that's all. Those are all my thoughts on this episode. And I guess that pretty much concludes this week's recording. And next week we'll be covering Ivy on the Run and After the Raid, and that's going to be our last episode discussion, which is going to be it's an odd feeling, but
Yeah.
yeah, we'll looking forward to that. But that's all for today. Thanks for listening, and see you guys next time. Say goodbye, everyone.
See you guys.
See ya.